Thank you, Gergely. Before I speak on wine tourism, I want to, you introduced already the OIV as an intergovernmental organization. We are composed of 48 member states. We were created almost 100 years ago in 1924, and we are based at this moment in Paris. Um, we work in four main areas: viticulture, enology, economy and law, safety, and health. And it is within the Economy and Law Commission where we deal with the topic of wine tourism. Why it is interesting and why it is important. It is the scope of tourists have changed. You probably have been talking about this. The focus, it's not more anymore, visiting a destination on a contemplative way, but having some experiences, no? And this wine is very relevant and puts an offer forward in terms of this type of tourism. And this brings many benefits to the sector, not only to the wine sector also, but also to the local development via the so-called spillover effects, or in French, externalité. The role played by the synergies between wine culture, territorial identity, and tourism may be crucial for rural development as well, as we saw yesterday, and thanks to the brilliant presentation of Sandra Carbao from the UNWTO. Why it is important to measure tourism, and that's our main focus. No? We need to understand the contribution of tourism to society and persuade governments and policymakers to take wine tourism seriously, to measure its economic importance directly and indirectly, and induced impacts on jobs, GDP, trade, and investment on a global scale. So this is a very important need. Where good information and data is accessible, this can provide an effective tool for galvanizing local action, for reinforcing the performance of policies and programs, and for driving investment and development projects. Agencies responsible for the development of tourism at subnational level are therefore more and more willing to play an active role in measuring these issues. No? And if it is not public administration, not only public administrations that we need to give reliable statistics from drawing up policies and plans of action in gastronomy tourism, but other agents in the value chain. So entrepreneurs, professionals, investors, associations, researchers, and educational entities, etc., also need to have this information for analysis prior to taking decisions on aspects such as marketing plans, investments in the sector, the design of marketing strategies, identification of new tourism products, human capital development, etc. So those are the main challenges to measure wine tourism. Monitoring or measuring any form of tourism may be a complex task. We recognize this. This complexity stems from a number of issues, such as that there is not systematic data collection, which implies limited information and data availability, lack of timely data that are not always accurate and comprehensive, lack of comparability of data, countries versus global data, which in my opinion is the biggest problem. The lack of comparability of cross-country data is often due to differences in methodologies employed. Getting sound data for one country is not difficult, but it is collecting data from different countries with the same methodology that allows us to progress. And doing this for many consecutive years would lead to a creation of a database that would allow to monitor the evolution of growth path and wine of the wine tourism at global levels, as well as across different countries. There are some potential solutions offered by the digitalization of the economy. One potential solution of these issues is offered by digital transformation of the economy, a topic that is of paramount importance for us in the OIV. We have a strategic plan that contemplates, and that we have had recently a symposium on this matter, but at this moment we don't have enough data to include this as a priority in terms of having this in the area of developing statistics at this moment. So that's why we had a memorandum of understanding with the World Tourism Organization, a UN agency that you all know, and we will probably evolve under this frame. So what I wish you is a good work for this day. And thank you very much for your attention. We are there to support wine tourism, mainly from an analytical point of view. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pau, for the nice introduction and opening. I would like to invite the audience here and both in the virtual room to ask questions if you have any. Maybe I would start with the questions. Yesterday we have had a long discussion about data and available statistics, and we have some Greek partners and colleagues. They sorry, they said it's really complicated to find reliable data, and also it's really complicated to find statistics about wine tourism and all of this stuff. Do you see OIV as an international organization? Do you see in the future playing an important, significant role in this field, maybe together with the UNWTO, collecting data, conducting surveys on an international level, including different other countries, and to play a role of a kind of observatory and also data analysis institution?
Okay, yes, definitely. This is the role of OIV, to understand what are the needs of the sector, understand what are the needs of the producers, the consumers, and from that get what are the preoccupations and try to make recommendations to the member states. This is a very important role. And how do you produce these recommendations? By standards, by fixing standards. If we have to have some standards of measuring together with we have the experience of having resolutions to fixing standards, okay? Then we have the implementation from the member states. Normally, they do it by regulation, normally. The thing is that with WTO, with the World Tourism Organization, the UNWTO, we can have a very good symbiosis because they are very much in promotion and we are very much in standardization. So this type of synergy can be very productive. They see us as a possible experience to maybe we have to pilot some things first and to have some pilots and probably getting some recommendations from this type of pilots. You're working on that, Gergely. There are many experiences on that, and then providing from some standards and And digitalization provides us for all systems of, we have seen, I personally have seen some experiences in New Zealand with mobile phones. You probably have been studying all these type of things. And gathering all this data requires also artificial intelligence, requires a way to analyze, but fixing standards is the way to have an harmonious system of data provision.
Thank you very much.
And OIV has this capacity. OIV has this capacity because many of the standards are not only applied by the OIV members, but by agreements. So, for example, Japan, it's a country that doesn't belong to the OIV, but almost all the standards are applied in Japan. So sometimes you have more. The scope is almost bigger than the 48 member states.
I'm really happy that you said that because again, yesterday we had a very long discussion about what is the role of the own government, what is the role of the certain scientific institutions in the country. And then actually, it looks like the solution, or one of the solutions, could be exactly creating some kind of wine tourism observatory on an international level, and it looks like that OIV and together maybe with UNWTO could play a very important and significant role in this. Yeah, we have also another question, as I see. Yeah.
Yes, hello, Mr. Roca. We have one comment in the chat from Maria in regards to the operation of OIV, maybe proposing some sort of methodology for benchmarking in data production.
Okay, so welcome. We have an expert group. Gergely is in it, so maybe we can analyze that in the expert group and provide for some study first and then action after. It's very important action.
Yeah, comparison and comparing different countries and different regions is always. I mean, this is the way how we can learn what other binaries or regions do well or do it the wrong way. This is always a learning effect, and this is what we can use.
Maybe I would like to say something, considering the role of OIV. OIV is preserving, in a way, the diversity of this sector. Unconsciously, we have been creating all these standards for 100 years, creating a special, very structure that is very fragmented, but that at the end, it's like a protection for this type of diversity. If there was not this diversity, there wouldn't be any attractiveness of the attractivity of the wine sector for wine tourism. So we are also playing an important role in terms of creating the conditions for this economic structure that it's so different from even from other alcoholic beverages industry or other agricultural producers. It's very peculiar, very linked to the territory, etc. But this is not given by itself. It's because of these multiple layers of regulation and this work that has been doing for more than 100 years.
Thank you, Paul. Just one additional question, because I'm very curious. But let me give it a minute, because I'm curious. You have lots to do with, or in the past, you used to be also a member of the sustainability group in OIV and so on. I'm very curious about your opinion regarding sustainable development, but not generally in the wine sector, but focusing on wine tourism. So, what is your opinion about this, and how do you see the future development? I know that the question is very broad, and maybe I would ask you just to summarize your ideas, but it would be interesting to hear from you.
Well, tourism means people moving all around the globe. Yeah, you know, in terms of CO2 emissions, this doesn't look very efficient. No, but so in the pandemic, we have seen that wine tourism and rural tourism has been an alternative option for short distance tourism. Okay, this is something to think about. But I think we have the ambition of going back to a global to a global people traveling all over the globe, no? And this is what the people want. So it doesn't depend on the wine sector, but we need planes that go with hydrogen and with or short trips on electric planes. This is very important. So it's out of the capacity of our wine sector, you see. But this is a precondition. The second thing is that by learning, by visiting wineries, by going to these local experiences, there is a lot to learn, and there is a lot of pedagogy on sustainability, social sustainability, and economic sustainability, because we are offering a model which is an alternative to just growth. It's something that it's linked to a territory where the producer, the farmer, is very it's empowered in a way, and it has a conservative way of growing. So this is sustainability. So we have a condition that has to be that it's outside our capacity. But the second thing is our capacity to be a paradigm of sustainability and experiencing through wine tourism. It's something that you learn to recycle, you learn to respect nature, and because the efforts are so important by the wine producers in terms of soil protection, in terms of adaptation, in terms of biodiversity, that experiencing all these elements of agroecology, and this is especially true in wine growing, in vineyards, so in small units of production, that I think we play a role of a paradigmatic role. Sorry for being too long on that response, Gergely.
So of your answer shows just the complexity and the multidimensional characteristic of sustainable wine tourism, because it's nothing what you could formulate with one answer or one short answer or one sentence. Thank you very much, Pau, for sharing with us your thoughts, and hopefully you still have time to stay a little bit here in the virtual room and enjoy all the other presentations. Thank you.
Thank you, Gergely.